staring at nothing. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I opened FaceSpace on my phone and composed a new post. I didn't write about the stolen money, or the forged documents, or the abandoned Thanksgiving. I simply took a photo of my dining room table, which I'd set that morning, with my good china and a small bouquet of flowers from the garden. The post read, "Sometimes being alone is the greatest clarity. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who values honesty and family." I hit share and set my phone down. Within minutes, it started buzzing with comments and messages. My cousin Ruth commented first. "Beautiful table, Helen. Where's Derek and the family?" My sister Virginia commented next. "Thinking of you today. You're stronger than you know." Then came messages in my inbox. Friends asking if I was okay. Relatives asking where Derek was. Distant family members I hadn't spoken to in years, all suddenly curious why I was spending Thanksgiving alone. I didn't respond to any of them. I simply let the post exist, a simple statement of fact, that raised more questions than it answered. Then I started receiving phone calls. Virginia again. Then Ruth. My neighbor Patricia. Derek's godmother. One by one they called and one by one answered. I told each of them the same story, calmly and without emotion. They left for a vacation without telling me. They've been using my money. They forged banking documents. They took gifts I'd bought for the children. With each retelling, the story spread further. By noon, I talked to 8 different relatives. And in those conversations, I learned things that made my blood run cold. Derek and Vanessa had been telling people I was clingy. That I called them constantly, demanding attention. That I showed up at their house unannounced, making Vanessa uncomfortable. That they were trying to establish healthy boundaries, with a parent who couldn't let go. Ruth told me Vanessa had cried at book club, about how hard it was to deal with me. Virginia said Derek had told people I was jealous of his relationship with his wife, that I tried to drive a wedge between them. Derek's godmother said Vanessa had mentioned at church that I'd offered to pay for things, and then gotten angry when they accepted, accusing them of using me. Every story painted me as the problem. The overbearing mother. The manipulative grandmother. The burden they had to manage carefully. They'd spent months, maybe years, crafting a narrative that would justify abandoning me. So that when this moment came, when they finally left me behind, everyone would nod sympathetically and say, "Well, Derek did his best." Some parents just can't let go. I didn't defend myself to anyone. I simply forwarded screenshots. The bank charges from this morning. The forged authorization form. The property collateral document. The FaceSpace post of them on the beach, with my luggage and my gifts. I sent the evidence without comment, letting it speak for itself. The response was immediate and explosive. My phone started ringing constantly. Messages flooded in faster than I could read them. Ruth called back within 5 minutes, her voice shaking with anger. "Helen, I had no idea. Oh my God, I actually felt sorry for them." Vanessa seemed so stressed. Virginia commented on my post. "For anyone wondering, Helen's son and his wife are currently in Aruba, on a luxury vacation, funded by money they stole from her account without permission. While she sits home alone on Thanksgiving." Others shared the comment, added their own. The post started getting reactions, from people I'd never met, friends of friends who were outraged on my behalf. I checked Derek's FaceSpace page. His beach photo had 3 new comments. "Interesting that you can afford Aruba, but your mother spends Thanksgiving alone. Did Helen pay for this trip? Maybe check on your mother, instead of posting vacation photos." I watched as more comments appeared. Then Vanessa's account went private. 10 minutes later, Derek's did too. They'd shut down their social media, rather than face the questions. I felt no satisfaction, only a cold, distant sense of justice being served. At 3 o'clock, I drove to James Wellington's office, with a folder full of documents, and a clarity I hadn't felt in years. James Wellington's office smelled like leather and old books. He sat behind a massive oak desk, reading through the papers I'd brought, with the careful attention of someone who'd spent 50 years practicing law. "This is quite comprehensive," he said finally. "The forged signature alone could result in criminal charges, if you wanted to pursue that route." "I don't want him arrested," I said. "I want him removed from my life." James nodded. "We'll draft a new will immediately. Everything to the Riverside Community Center, as you specified. I'll also prepare a power of attorney document, naming your sister Virginia as your legal representative, in case of medical emergency or incapacity. That removes Derek's ability to make decisions for you." "How long will this take?" "I can have documents ready by Monday morning. We'll need 2 witnesses for the signing, which my staff can provide. Once it's executed, your previous will becomes null and void." I felt something loosen in my chest. "Do it." James looked at me over his reading glasses. "Helen, I've known you a long time. I need to ask, is this what you really want? People make terrible decisions in anger, and they regret them later." "This isn't anger," I said quietly. "This is clarity. My son has been systematically removing me from my own life. He forged my signature, stole my money, and tried to use my house as collateral, without permission. This isn't a temporary problem. This is who he is." James set down his pen. "Then we'll make sure your wishes are legally protected." I drove home as the sun started setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. The house felt different when I walked in. Not empty, but peaceful. Like I could finally breathe, without someone watching, judging, calculating what they could take from me next. I made myself a simple dinner of soup and bread, eating at the kitchen table while watching the sky darken through the window. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell. Thanks so much for watching. My phone buzzed occasionally with new messages, but I ignored it. At 8 o'clock, an email notification appeared. The sender was Derek Morrison. The subject line read, "Urgent, please read." Opened it. "Mom, something's wrong with our credit cards. The resort is saying they're all declined. We can't pay for the room or get flights home. Our phones are about to shut off too. I don't know what's happening, but we need help right now. Please call me immediately. This is an emergency." I read the email 3 times, my expression never changing. Then I clicked reply and typed, "Since you told me you wanted a vacation without me, I trust you'll figure this out without my help. By the way, the utility accounts you were on have been updated. Best of luck with your emergency." I hit send and closed my laptop. Then I poured myself a glass of wine I'd been saving for Thanksgiving dinner, and sat on the couch. Outside, I could hear children laughing, probably at Patricia's house where her family was gathered. The sound was distant but warm, reminding me that life went on, that families existed who actually cared for each other. I wasn't part of that tonight. But maybe, eventually, I would be. The weekend passed quietly. I ignored 17 more emails from Derek, and 23 text messages from Vanessa. Each one grew more desperate, more angry, more accusatory. By Saturday evening, Vanessa's messages had shifted from begging to threats. "You're doing this on purpose. We're stranded here because of you. Derek's mother is supposed to help her son. What kind of person are you?" I deleted each message without responding. On Sunday, my phone rang from a number I didn't recognize. I answered it out of curiosity. "Mrs. Morrison, this is the front desk at Sunset Paradise Resort. A woman with a Caribbean accent said, "I have your son Derek here. He says there's been a mix-up with his payment, and he'd like to speak with you about covering the remaining balance." "I'm not covering anything," I said calmly. "He's an adult. He can solve his own problems." "Ma'am, if the balance isn't paid, we'll have to involve local authorities about the unpaid charges. Do you understand what I'm saying?" "I understand perfectly. He committed fraud by using my bank card without permission. Feel free to involve any authorities you'd like." I heard Derek's voice in the background, shouting something I couldn't make out. "Ma'am, please," the woman started. Hung up. 20 minutes later, my sister Virginia called. "Helen, Derek just called me from some resort. He's absolutely losing his mind, screaming about how you've ruined their vacation and stolen their money." "Their money," I repeated. "That's interesting phrasing. What do you want me to do?" Virginia asked. "He's asking me to wire him money for flights home." "That's between you and him," I said. "But if you do, you'll never see that money again. Derek doesn't pay people back. He just takes until there's nothing left to take." Virginia was quiet for a moment. "He really did this, didn't he? All of it?" I wanted to believe there was some explanation, but there isn't. "No," I said. "There isn't." "Then he can figure out his own way home," Virginia said firmly. "I'm not rewarding that behavior." We talked for another hour about the will changes and the legal steps I was taking. Virginia promised to be my power of attorney, to help me protect myself from any future manipulation. For the first time in months, I felt like someone was truly on my side. Monday morning arrived with cold autumn rain. I met James at his office at 9, signed all the new documents, with 2 of his paralegals as witnesses, and walked out, with copies of everything safely tucked in my bag. My old will was void. Derek would inherit nothing. The house, the savings accounts, the life insurance policies, everything I'd built over a lifetime of work, would go to help children who actually needed it. I felt lighter walking to my car, like I'd set down something heavy I'd been carrying too long. Tuesday afternoon, car pulled into my driveway. Through the window, I watched Derek climb out, followed by Vanessa and the twins. They looked exhausted, their vacation clothes wrinkled and stained. Sophie was crying. Max dragged behind his mother, his face sullen. Derek marched up to the porch and pounded on the door. I waited a full minute before opening it. His face was red, his eyes wild. "What did you do?" he demanded. "We were stuck in that resort for 3 days. Do you have any idea what you put us through?" I looked past him to Vanessa, who stood on the sidewalk with her arms crossed, glaring at me with pure hatred. The twins sat in the car, watching through the window. "You stole my bank card," I said quietly. "You forged my signature on legal documents. You tried to use my house as collateral without permission. You abandoned me on Thanksgiving, after months of telling people I was senile, so you could justify cutting me out of your lives. What did you think would happen? You're my mother," Derek shouted. "You're supposed to help me. I spent 32 years helping you," I said. "I think that's enough." Vanessa stalked up the walkway. "You selfish woman. We planned that vacation for months. You ruined everything out of spite." I looked at her calmly. "You told Patricia I would ruin the aesthetic of your photos. You opened my mail, forged my signature, and removed my grandchildren's artwork from my walls. You took everything you wanted and left me alone, on a holiday that's supposed to be about gratitude and family. And you're calling me selfish." Derek's expression changed. The anger flickered, replaced briefly by something that might have been shame. But it vanished as quickly as it appeared. We made a mistake, he said, his voice dropping to something calmer. Okay. We handled things badly. But you didn't have to destroy our entire vacation. That was cruel. Cruel, I repeated. You want to talk about cruel? Let me tell you what cruel is. Cruel is a mother working double shifts for years to afford your college tuition. Cruel is sacrificing my own retirement savings to help you buy your first house. Cruel is babysitting every weekend so you could have date nights. Cruel is paying your mortgage when you lost your job. And after all that, you repay me by erasing me from your life, like I never mattered. Derek opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Vanessa grabbed his arm. Don't listen to her. She's trying to manipulate you. I ignored her. I changed my will yesterday, I said to Derek. Everything goes to Riverside Community Center. You're not getting this house. You're not getting my savings. You're not getting anything. His face went pale. You can't do that. I already did. It's signed and notarized. Vanessa's eyes widened. Derek, do something. But Derek just stared at me, finally understanding that his plan had collapsed. The loan application, the forged documents, the careful manipulation, all of it was worthless now. Mom, Derek said, and his voice cracked slightly. Please. We can fix this. We'll apologize properly. We'll pay you back for the vacation. Just don't cut me out. Please. For a moment, seeing my son's face, I felt a wave of old instinct. The maternal urge to comfort, to forgive, to make everything okay. But then I remembered the empty corkboard in the guest room. The crossed-out calendar. The forged signature on banking documents. The months of lies. Sometimes, I said quietly, family hurts you worse than strangers ever could. Because you trust them. You open your life to them completely, and they use that trust to take everything you have. Derek's shoulders slumped. So that's it. You're just done with me. You were done with me first, I said. You just wanted to keep access to my money while you were doing it. Vanessa tugged at Derek's sleeve. Come on. She's not worth this. They turned and walked back to the car. I watched them drive away, their taillights disappearing around the corner. Sophie waved at me through the rear window, her small hand pressed against the glass. I lifted mine in return, my throat tight. Then they were gone. I closed the door and stood in the quiet hallway, listening to the house settle around me. No voices. No footsteps. No demands or manipulation or lies. Just peace. Just clarity. Just me finally free. That evening, I drove to Riverside Community Center. It was a low brick building, in a part of town that real estate agents called developing, which meant poor. I'd been volunteering there for 5 years, teaching basic piano to kids whose families couldn't afford lessons. The director, a woman named Keisha, was locking up when I arrived. Helen, I wasn't expecting you today. I wanted to tell you something in person, I said. My lawyer is sending you documents next week. I changed my will. When I'm gone, everything I have is going to this center. The house, the savings, all of it. Use it for the kids. Keisha's eyes filled with tears. Helen, I don't know what to say. Say you'll use it well, I said. Say you'll help children who need it. That's all I want. She hugged me tightly, and I let myself lean into it, accepting comfort I'd been denying myself for days. When I drove home that night, the house didn't feel empty anymore. Felt like mine. Over the next weeks, Derek tried calling several times. I didn't answer. Vanessa sent emails I deleted unread. But slowly they stopped. They faded from my life, the way they'd planned for me to fade from theirs. And I was okay. Better than okay. I was free. On Christmas morning, I woke up alone. made coffee in a quiet kitchen, ate breakfast at my own pace. Then I drove to Riverside Community Center and spent the day helping serve holiday dinner to families who needed it. Children laughed and ran around the gym. Parents thanked me with tired, grateful eyes. And when a little girl handed me a drawing she'd made, a picture of a Christmas tree with a star on top, I hung it on my refrigerator with pride. This was my family now. People who valued kindness over manipulation, love over money, honesty over lies. Sometimes the family you choose is better than the family you're born into. And sometimes, being alone is the first step to finding where you really belong. Sometimes, family can hurt you more than strangers. Sometimes the only way to heal is to walk away. Being related doesn't excuse betrayal. Stop sacrificing yourself for people who wouldn't do the same. Boundaries are the strongest form of self-love. I realized something profound now. Losing a family who didn't value you isn't a loss. It's a liberation. I left the past behind and heading toward a future filled with possibility, respect, and real love. The kind of love that doesn't keep people out. The kind of love that invites you in. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take from this story? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your views matter. If you have been touched by this story, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who needs to learn from it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Click the notification bell to be updated with another story that would keep you on the edge of your seat. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, you're worth the love that respects you, values you, and never makes you feel like you need their permission to exist. Stay blessed, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next story.